Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jefferson Donovan.
And welcome to KEPR QUIK, your latest local news and weather, commercial-free in 18 minutes or less. We're going to jump right over to weather here because temperatures are going to be on a cooling trend as we head on into the weekend, right?
Temperatures are going to be on a cooling trend, but before we get there, it is going to be quite nice. I actually want to focus back on the weekend first. It was a beautiful weekend around eastern Washington and northeast Oregon, and we had this beautiful viewer photo sent in to us of the sunrise yesterday morning from Emma. Again, you can just see those colors, an awesome sunrise. And really this week is going to be a pretty awesome week of weather. For this Monday, we will be looking at warm temperatures, and we are going to be subject to breezy winds during the late afternoon and evening hours. For the middle part of the week, namely Tuesday and Wednesday, anticipate nothing but sunshine with pretty seasonal temperatures. And then in a bit of an ironic twist, by the time we get to the first day of summer on Friday, we are going to be looking at a cool down. We'll talk more about all three of these weather headlines coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning in Yakima County. A Selah man is facing several charges of child molestation and several counts of possessing, producing, and distributing child sexual abuse material. Selah police officers received online tips of potential child porn distribution on the social media app KEPR. After reviewing the material with the help of KEPR, police confirmed it as child abuse material and tracked down the IP address to the 700 block of North 12th Street in Selah, where a search warrant had been previously executed earlier this year. Now, the investigation is still ongoing. Yakima police arrested a man with several pounds of marijuana and cocaine earlier this month who is now facing intent to deliver, as well as firearm-related charges. Police were called to the area of South 8th and East Arlington Streets at around 9:15 p.m. on June 1st after reports of shots being fired from a vehicle in the area. Police found the car on LaSalle Street and chased a passenger who ran from the vehicle to an apartment on the 800 block, which led to the man's arrest. Now, officers found 8 to 10 pounds of marijuana and several plastic bags believed to contain cocaine in the apartment, along with 4 firearms, 2 of which were reported stolen. 2 people are recovering from injuries following a crash in Richland Thursday night. Check out this photo of the 2-car collision at the intersection of George Washington Way and Comstock Street. Authorities say both drivers were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. They say the driver at fault had been drinking before the crash and is expected to be charged with felony vehicular assault. And a Yakima man is headed to federal prison for stealing several items from the Kalispel tribe cultural display. 61-year-old Kevin William Wisman was sentenced to 6 months in federal prison after he pleaded guilty to stealing the items, which included baby moccasins that were on display at the Northern Quest Resort and Casino in 2020. So far, the items haven't been recovered. Wisman claims they were stolen from his vehicle, and there's a $25,000 reward for information that leads to their recovery. If you have any information, contact the Kalispel Tribal Police Department. And on to some continuing coverage. The prosecuting attorney investigating a fatal crash involving Washington State Patrol Trooper Sarah Clasen is stepping down. While Spokane County Prosecutor Larry Haskell is slated to retire next month, he says the move will not impact the case's progress, adding their investigation is nearly complete and that the public should expect more information, quote, sooner rather than later. This comes more than 3 months after Trooper Clasen, who was off duty at the time, was involved in a car crash near Parkway Village in Richland, resulting in the death of 20-year-old motorcyclist Joser Sanchez. Lab results obtained in April showed Clasen's blood alcohol level at the time of the crash was 0.17, more than twice the legal limit. She remains on administrative leave. And on to some fire coverage. Firefighters across the region are keeping busy because crews were quick to put out a small brush fire that ignited yesterday afternoon on the side of Highway 12 near the Pasco-Colotis Road exit. Dark plumes of smoke could be seen a ways out from the blaze as it scorched the dry grass and brush. No structures were threatened, and despite being so close to the highway, the blaze did not affect traffic flow. The cause of that fire is unknown at this time. Meanwhile, an investigation is underway to determine the cause of a brush fire that sparked yesterday morning near Hermiston. Leaders with Umatilla County Fire District 1 say they were called out to the area of Airport Road following reports of the blaze threatening a nearby home. Although firefighters were able to contain the fire and keep the home unharmed, the 3-acre blaze caused damage to multiple vehicles and at least 1 trailer. No injuries were reported, and witnesses say they heard a loud boom before that fire took off. Yet another fire in Benton County sparked Saturday afternoon. Firefighters were able to quickly respond before it became too large. Several vehicles were destroyed as a result of the fire. It grew to about 1 acre before it was stopped. One person was treated at the scene for minor injuries. Fire crews are making progress putting out a large wildfire that ignited Thursday near Tucci. Leaders with the Washington State Department of Natural Resources tell us the Van Cycle fire is now 60% contained and is estimated to be a little over 2,000 acres in size. No evacuation notices are currently in place. The Hatch Road from Highway 12 to the Oregon border remains closed until further notice. The cause of this fire remains under investigation. And several wildfires continue to burn out of control in Oregon. The Rowena fire burning along the Columbia River Gorge has grown to more than 3,600 acres since it ignited Wednesday. According to the Wasco County Sheriff's Office, the blaze has already destroyed about 49 homes and is 24% contained. Investigators believe the fire was caused by humans, though it's unclear it's unclear if it was started intentionally, rather. Meanwhile, the Ferry fire, some 50 miles southeast, has grown to more than 10,000 acres, and that fire is 78% contained. And with that, let's jump right over to meteorologist Jefferson Donovan. A lot of heat and that breezy conditions contributed to the fire activity, especially throughout most of last week. Temperatures are cooling down, and it seems like wind has died off a little bit. Do we have changes in the opposite direction coming up?
Yeah, slightly cooler, but still plenty hot enough to create danger for fires. And we are going to be talking about some of those breezy winds, too. Now, as we take a look outside at what we are going to be doing in our forecast area today, it was a week ago today that we were talking about record-breaking temperatures into the triple digits. Today is going to be nowhere near as hot, but we will be subject to daytime highs in the low to mid 90s for the Tri-Cities today. For the Yakima Valley, we will be looking at upper 80s to low 90s for this afternoon, with low to mid 80s today for the Kittitas Valley. For the Blue Mountain foothills today, anticipate upper 80s nearing 90 degrees. Everyone today will be looking at partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies. Now, when it comes to wildfires, we always talk about hot, dry, and windy. We certainly have the heat. It is going to be dry out there, but what about those winds? Well, we are going to be looking at winds increasing through the day, and in fact, by the time we get to the late afternoon and evening hours, we are going to be looking at winds gusting to 25 miles per hour for the Tri-Cities and Walla Walla, 30-mile-per-hour gusts for Yakima as well as Pendleton, with gusts as high as 45 miles per hour for Ellensburg and the Kittitas Valley. Again, the strongest winds will be during the late afternoon and evening hours. For tomorrow, winds are going to stay breezy, but we are not going to be anywhere near as windy as today. The only place of real concern tomorrow will be in the Kittitas Valley, where gusts will still be up to 35 miles per hour. Having said that, we do have a red flag warning in place for all areas in these pink colors. For our viewing area, we're really focused on the Kittitas Valley and upper Yakima Valley from 2 p.m. this afternoon until 9 p.m. this evening because of those breezy winds and dry weather conditions. Now, even if you're not in the red flag warning, please practice that fire safety. We don't want any new fires starting really anywhere. Now, the next 2 days after today look like this. Plenty of sunshine on Tuesday and Wednesday, with temperatures primarily sticking in the 80s. Now, just beyond this forecast, there's a larger cool down. In fact, by Friday and Saturday, all of us will be into the 70s. We'll have more on that tomorrow morning and tomorrow on KEPR QUIK, but right now, I'm going to throw it back to Dave.
Thanks, Jefferson. As protesters gathered across the nation over the weekend, around 2,000 took to the streets of Yakima to celebrate democracy. Organized by Yakima Indivisible, a 6-member local steering committee made up of people from diverse backgrounds and careers, 1,500 pre-registered online to join the honk and wave in Union Gap on Main Street by the Valley Mall. The national theme for the event was No Kings, and the Yakima Indivisible group chose the theme Celebrate Democracy, with handmade signs riffing on both these ideas at this nonpartisan, family-friendly event.
We're trying to draw attention to the fact that we need to protect and strengthen our democracy. And I think a lot of people are worried about protecting our civic institutions here in Yakima. And this group is kind of about advancing the ideals rather than the grievances. And that's what really drew me to this group.
Many peaceful protesters who joined the honk and wave were there to highlight their personal concerns for the future.
I have concerns about my health care. I have concerns about the fact that I'm denied travel rights.
Now, after the protest, many of those in attendance plan to head to MLK Jr. Park for Saturday's Juneteenth celebration, inviting the community to march with them also on June 21st for Yakima's Pride Parade. Meanwhile, organizers estimate around 5,000 people turned out for the No Kings protest in the Tri-Cities in front of the mall on Columbia Center Boulevard in Kennewick. One of the most common concerns among protesters was the increased ICE activity in our area, with several local people being arrested over the last few months. Many people showed up to protest other issues, including potential cuts to health care coverage.
There's so many different issues addressed in these signs, and that just shows what a great community we have, that we have a diversity of signs, a diversity of issues, and we can all come together and stand here together.
Now, according to the official website for the No Kings organization, about 80 cities in our state held protests. Switching gears, the Pasco Police Department continues working towards a safer community with frequent Business Watch meetings. We stopped by one to learn about the program and how it's improving community safety through connections with business owners.
It gives us an opportunity to meet with them face to face, and they get to know us a little bit, because chances are if they have to call 911, they're experiencing a bad day, and we don't want them to have that be our first interaction together.
If you don't own a business but want to get to know the department, you're encouraged to attend one of several Coffee with a Cop events held each year. And it's been announced there'll be significant changes to the Ben Franklin Transit bus routes here in the Tri-Cities. These changes include Express Routes 2X and 240X to reduce travel times. The 2X will serve Richland, the CBC area, and the airport, while the 240X will connect Richland and Kennewick. There is airport service now being offered as a direct ride.
You know, here in the Tri-Cities, it is pretty spread out in areas, so we know that travel time is an issue that deters people from riding the bus, so we want to address that, make things quicker for those already riding, and then try and encourage folks who don't ride the bus to use our services.
Now, these changes were based off of feedback from customers and operators. Leaders say they'll continue to keep tabs on the growth of the city and accommodate the needs of the community. We have some major developments for the Central Washington State Fair Park that are expected to boost the economy in the Yakima Valley, along with expanding entertainment options. Updates include a $2.7 million renovation of the 167 RV space park, a $2 million grant that will fund the addition of 101 more RV spaces after the 2025 fair, along with a $400,000 grant that will go towards repairing livestock barn roofs, supporting agriculture, education, and youth programs across the valley. Fair leaders say the improvements reflect a long-term investment in the region's infrastructure and event potential. President Trump is taking action to preserve the hydroelectric dams in the Columbia Basin area. In a memorandum signed on Thursday, the move withdraws from agreements made by the Biden administration in 2023 to potentially breach this lower Snake River dams. While conservation groups and tribal leaders claim the dams are hindering the population of salmon, steelhead, and other native fish, the Trump administration says breaching the dams would result in reduced water supply to farmers, increased energy costs, and disrupted shipping channels. Folks came out in droves yesterday for the final day of the 10th annual Richland Regatta. Hundreds of people could be seen lining the shoreline of the Columbia River at Howard Amon Park as more than 60 boats and hydroplanes raced on the water. Event goers we spoke to say this is an appetizer for the bigger boat races this summer.
It's an every year kind of thing. When there's boats on the water, we're watching. It's definitely a nice, refreshing, start up to the water follies happening in about a month.
A new addition to this year's regatta was the appearance of the Water Follies Dive and Rescue Team. Organizers say it gives them time to practice on the river ahead of the Tri-Cities Water Follies, which will take place from July 25th to the 27th at Columbia Park. Community members across the Tri-Cities came out in celebration of Flag Day on Saturday by holding a flag-burning ceremony. The annual event, which was held by the Regional Veterans Memorial at Columbia Park Saturday evening, featured a dignified disposal of 13 damaged American flags. Organizers highlighting what the flag truly stands for.
A flag may be a flimsy bit of printed gauze or a beautiful banner of finest silk. Its intricate value may be trifling or great, but its real value is beyond price, for it is a precious symbol of all we and our comrades have worked for, lived, and died for.
Now, the goal of the event is to show and share proper disposal of the American flag in a respectful and dignified manner. Hundreds gathered at Triton Park in Richland on Saturday for the unveiling of a new commemorative wall honoring those who served on the USS Triton submarine. If you didn't know, Richland is home to the 75-foot-long sail of the retired Triton, which stands at 20 feet tall. Over a dozen retired Navy veterans who serve on board were in attendance.
I don't think there's anyone here or on Triton anymore that's alive that's under 80. We're all 80 and up. There's always a smart one there that screw me up. That's the way the crew was,
Triton Park is located at 3250 Port of Benton Boulevard for those interested in checking it out. Tours can be scheduled online to go inside the sale. One of the longest-running Juneteenth celebrations in the entire state went off without a hitch. Thousands stopped by Kurtzman Park in Pasco on Saturday to check out the many local food vendors, activities, and to recognize the end of slavery in the United States.
Today is a day to just come out and just really embrace who you are, embrace your diversity in who you are, and definitely our culture and community, because as you look around the park, it is very diverse. It is about community, but the message of freedom and Juneteenth rings like the Liberty Bell.
On Friday, the new 2025 Miss Juneteenth was announced. Throughout the rest of this week, there are many activities planned, including a day of service on Thursday to give back to the community. And while many families were celebrating Father's Day yesterday, one Tri-Cities man was enjoying some additional festivities. Say hello to Bud Shaw. The retired Kennewick firefighter was celebrating his 90th birthday yesterday, and as a gift, he got to wave to a caravan of cars passing by his home, all of whom wishing him a happy birthday. We caught up with Bud, who says this was a special moment.
It means a whole lot to me. It shows that I've got so awesome family and friends. I've got so many friends that I don't know personally if I got an enemy. Maybe I do, but I don't know it.
Put together by his kids, this isn't the first time he's had a celebration like this. A similar one was held on Bud's 85th birthday during the pandemic. Nevertheless, his daughters say it's about returning the favor to a man once heavily involved in the community.
He's been involved in a lot of community things with his grandchildren and his kids and stepkids, and he just has a lot of people that love him. And with his health declining, we knew he really couldn't be out anywhere, so it was just a great way for everybody to come by and show their love.
Now, part of the festivities also included the arrival of a Kennewick Fire Department truck from 1935, which Bud hopped onto himself like he used to do all of the time before he retired 50 years ago. Happy birthday to Bud Shaw. And thank you for watching this episode of KEPR QUIK. For more local news and weather, you can head over to our websites, KEPR and KIMATV.com, as well as our Facebook pages. But while you're here, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with our latest mini newscasts Monday through Friday. Have a wonderful day.